from a little town in Derbyshire. This fella, me, Nick, likes pottering with cars and all sorts of rubbish. And I sometimes make the odd video, and a couple of my mates have said, why don't you have a YouTube channel? Well, there's two things to know about YouTube channels. You're never going to be the next Cletus McFarlane, or Mr. Beast, or who else have we got? Mighty Car Mods, but I kind of like making the videos, and my mates kind of like seeing them too. So I'm going to have a YouTube channel. It's not to make money. Hey, bloody hell, if I make a drink out of it, happy days. But it's not for that. It's more for me. I quite like making the videos. And a mate of mine who's very creative is brilliant at thinking up like names for things. And he's called Mick, and I said to Mick, if he was going to be starting a YouTube channel, what would you call it? And within like 10 minutes he says, I'd call it Nick Knack. And for reasons I can't think of now, I quite like it because it's the way that I do things, which isn't necessarily the right way, but it's more about learning the knack of doing things. And I think the most skilled mechanics or technicians out there with fancy computers and laser beams and all the rest of it probably won't have the knack that I've learned over my, well, I'm 50 odd now, and I've been a mechanic, bloody hell, how long's that? 20, 30, 40, about 35 years pottering about with spanners. And you tend to learn little tricks throughout your career. I don't work as a mechanic. I've not worked as a mechanic for years, by the way. I've done all sorts of stuff, but mechanicking and mucking about, fabricating little bits and bobs in my little workshop is my hobby now, so I'm rambling. This won't be a very good first YouTube video. However, because it is my first YouTube video that I'm going to upload, I thought we would start off with making something that's not hard to do. No, making something that is hard to do. No, it's not a hard job to do, but it can be a bugger of a job because I'm changing the gearbox oil on my Mini. And while it's easy getting the oil out, it isn't necessarily easy getting the oil back in again. So this is going to be Nick's knack. The knack of doing something that can be a bit of a crap job, but we're going to make it easy today. So I've already drained the oil out. If you're looking at this video, you're going to have an interest in it, I suppose, or you're thinking, who the bloody hell's this lunatic mucking about with a length of garden hose on a rainy day in Derbyshire? But we're going to fill the gearbox with oil. So what I've done is I've made a funnel with a length of hose that I'm going to poke down into the bowels of the gubbins. I thought I'd pause the video then, so we can fill it up with oil from the top rather than trying to do it from underneath, which is a bit of a crap job. So, because I'm doing it on my own and I've not got any fancy tripods or any of that carry on, you're going to have to bear with me for 1 minute. I've got a little ramp at home, which does make life easier. You don't need a ramp, by the way. This is something that you can do lying on your back. You don't want to be doing it in the rain. Bear with me a minute, because the ramp's quite noisy, so hang on a mo. What I will say is, if anybody does watch this, if I get over 10 views, the next time I make a video, I'll use a tripod. Or maybe a GoPro, rather than my phone. Right, so I'm under the car, and it's dead easy to do. You've got a drain bung, which the phone isn't focusing on. Give me a second. There we go. You've got a drain bung and a fill bung, which is the shiny hole just there. and I've got to get oil back in there. And you can do it with a suction gun or a pump of some description. But we're not going to do that. We're going to pour it in from the top instead. This face is a struggling face. There we go. So we're going to put the drain bowl back under it. You can see where I've just poked the hose down, which is now here. And I'm going to poke the hose in the hole. Like, easier said than done with one hand, left-handed. Like that. Okay. The hose is in the hole. We're going to go back up top. Might need a pair of steps for this. Then we're just going to pour the oil in, and when we get a drip out the bottom, we'll know it's full. Happy days, we're off to the pub. Okay, so back in the room. What I've been doing is just cracking open a couple of bottles of oil, and you'll see that these have already got a squirted tube sort of built into the cap, and you can pull out the top and it extends. And I remember my dad years ago having a Land Rover, an old 1964 Land Rover, and when he was doing the gearbox oils on that thing, he'd have more oil on the floor and dripping off his bloody elbows than what he did actually in the gearbox. Now check me out, I've got 1 foot on the step ladder, 1 can of oil in my hand. Bloody hell, hang on a minute. There we go. I'm almost so embarrassed to admit I've got a degree in media. I should know how to do this better, shouldn't I? Right, I showed you the pipe going into the gearbox, that's way down there. This gearbox takes 1.8 litres of oil. I've got 2 litres of oil. So you don't need to get Carol Vorderman on the phone to say the first one can go in all the way. Now what I'm doing now is hoping, well, first of all I'm pointing the camera the wrong way, and second of all I'm hoping that the tube hasn't come out the bottom. So what I'm going to do, stay there you bugger, just quickly check that I'm just not filling my drain bucket up with brand new oil. Is it looking good? Well, there's nothing dripping, put it that way, so yeah, tube's still in. We'll keep on trucking, Bruce. Back up the steps. I'm sure, who else does this sort of thing? High Performance Academy, I'm sure they don't film their videos like this, but anyway. Let's go for the full pour. Right, this is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause you. Otherwise you're going to be sick to bloody death of watching this. Well, I'm back from the second pause of the video. And I was going to say something to you. Oh yeah, this gearbox holds 1.8 litres of oil. And when it's full up, oil will come out of the hole where you fill it. The fill bung, if you like. So we're going to put about 1.6 in it, and I'm going to stop there because you need to also think about the fact you've got quite a long tube there, which is going to be full of oil. So I'm going to kind of creep up on it because I don't want to be tipping a load of new oil into my drain tray. So I'm going to continue filling it up, and I'm going to pause you again. That was just Nick's top tip 2. And I don't know if I'm going to upload this video, but we'll see how we go. We're back in the room. So I filled the gearbox with oil. We've done it nice and easy, just by pouring it in from the top. We've not had to muck about with squirty bottles or sucking oil out of a bottle to push it back in again. We've poured it in nice and easy. This will be the knack, Nick's knack of doing this little job. Like I say, it holds 1.8 litres, and I've got just under 200 ml left. So when we pull that tube out, we should just lose enough oil, or should I say, we won't lose much oil, but what we do lose, no, I've explained that wrong as well. When we pull the tube out, the level of the oil in the gearbox will be flush with the filling hole. And is there any more to explain? I think that's pretty much cracked it. So, when I pull this out, let's just get the drain tray right underneath it. Otherwise, it'll be a bad day. When I pull the tube out, there should be a bit of oil come out. What I should do is get the bung ready. Right then. Put the bung there so I know where it is. Right then, here we go. 10 minutes now to fill your gearbox up. Ridiculous. Real time. Oh, hang on a minute, look at that, look. We're hardly losing any. What I should do is just dip my finger in there, make sure you can't get your bloody finger in it. Oh, make sure it is full to the top. Yes, right. We're all gravy, Davy. Now, if I can get the bung in, left-handed, without dropping it in the bloody oil drain, it'll be definitely time for a pint. Right, well, that'll about do you. The video was to really show you how to easily fill your gearbox up. This is, like I say, my first YouTube video. I don't know if I'm going to put it up, but if it was any help to you, give it a thumbs up, cock. Thank your mother for the rabbits. Toodaloo.